Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, my name is Jacqueline. I garden in Zone 3B in Saskatchewan, Canada. And this video is all about how to prepare your hydrangeas in a cold climate for winter. Now it is the end of September and things are still beautiful, but there are things that we can do at this time of year to prepare these plants for winter. Now, there is a lot of information on the internet on how to care for hydrangeas and prepare them for fall and winter. A lot of those tips and tricks, they say, only apply to warmer climates, not to zone 3, not to zone 2, and not even to zone 4 or even 5. If you are in a climate that gets heavy snowfall, like I am, there's things you need to do to protect these plants so they do well through the winter. And the other thing is if you deal with rabbits or deer or anything like that, when they're desperate for food and the snow is really high, and I mean high, they will come in and they will eat your plants. Now we all know that hydrangeas, most of them, like the limelights, the annabelles, bloom on new wood, but they also bloom on old wood. I've had that experience. And we have some panicles in here too, but you're going to treat them all the same in a cold climate. And the first thing you want to do with a cold climate hydrangea, or a hydrangea that you're growing in a cold climate, is you want to prepare the soil. We do not fertilize hydrangeas in the fall for winter. If you are in a warmer climate, like a high 5 or 6, then yeah, you can prepare them and give them some 20-20-20 fertilizer. And you want to give them a slow release fertilizer, not a liquid fertilizer. And you want to spread that around the root system. But in our area of Saskatchewan, that is not the case. So the first step on this is don't listen to the internet if you live in a cold climate for how to prepare your hydrangeas for winter. Ignore that information because it's not accurate. Do not fertilize your plants. That's number 2. Number 3, cultivate the soil, clean any weeds out around your plants. So let's do that right now. I see I have a few weeds in there. And so that's the first thing we're going to do is loosen the soil. We want to loosen the soil around the plants so it can take in the moisture around them so that they get enough moisture for the winter. So they should be getting watered 2 to 3 times a week right now to give them enough moisture to keep those stems nice and firm and to keep them healthy. So for cultivating around your plants, you can use a fork or a hoe, whatever works for you. I use my triangle hoe because it works really good. And we're just going to go through here and we're going to loosen the soil. Right around the base of the plant and of course around your perennials too. Get rid of any of those weeds so all the moisture and energy goes to that plant and they don't get deprived by other plants in there. There is the most humongous bumblebee floating around in here, and he's moving really, really slow, but he is probably a good inch in size. So we're just going to watch out for him because I don't want to hurt him. It's just, I love seeing them still. There's still some around. Okay, so we're going to cultivate the soil up really good around our plants so they can take in that moisture when we water. Next rule, do not amend your soil. We don't want to do anything to stimulate growth because we're going to want them to go dormant. So we don't want to enrich the soil with any manure or compost. Next step, mulch. With watering 2-3 times a week, you want to mulch so that they retain the moisture for winter. Now, I didn't do that last year, and I should have, but these other steps are the things I do, and that is why my hydrangeas are so darn huge. This is the second-year plant. You can see the size of that and the weight. They aren't flopping at all because I haven't been overwatering them, but now is the time to increase the water on them, which is going to turn the foliage a bit brown on them. But we're going to deal with that because I'm going to show you exactly what to do. But before we do that, let's mulch these plants in. So I have some brown cedar mulch we're going to put down, and I'm just going to put it in here around the plants. This is particularly for the hydrangeas. So if you can't find a lot of mulch in your area, because I know supplies are starting to get limited, then use what you can find and put the mulch further back around the plants. The nice thing about cedar mulch versus just wood shavings is cedar tends to keep the pests away from your plants. It's a good deterrent. So that's why I would recommend a good cedar mulch. All right, that even looks better. You could mulch right up to the edge if you want to. I do have some more to put down, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to show you how to protect your hydrangeas so that they're strong and will be beautiful in the spring. Now let's talk about rabbits and deer and those things that like to eat our plants, including voles. Good mulching around the plants will help protect them. If you have a problem with deer and rabbits, you have a couple of choices. You can tie these up really good and you can wrap them in burlap, especially the stems, to protect them. Or you can leave them, which is what I do. And if the rabbits eat them, not a big deal because these were ate to the ground and look at them now. No impact whatsoever. Did not hurt them one bit. I think you'll remember in my spring video, I thought, oh, geez, they might not come back. Well, they're beautiful and they came back, no problem. Now here's one step that is critical to getting your hydrangeas through the winter with the least amount of damage. If you listen to anything I say in this video, this is it. First thing you want to do is we're going to clean our pruners. And I'm just using some basic alcohol. And open your pruners up good and give them a good wipe. Get that blade good and clean. Get off as much as you can. There's always some rust and stuff on here. You can sand them down if you want to as part of your winter care and preparation for spring. But you want to give them a really good disinfectant there because we don't want to transfer anything from the garden to our hydrangeas. And just let that dry for a minute. Okay, so here's the key if you live in a cold climate. And let's get up and personal on this. You're going to prune these. You're not going to prune them like they recommend on the internet. You're going to prune them for a cold climate. So if you live in the US, Canada, any of the cold areas in Europe where it gets super cold and you're growing hydrangeas, this is what you want to do. If you get anything out of my video, this is what you want to get. You want to cut the flowers off. And you're just going to take the heads off like that. Nothing else. That's all you're taking off. What we're doing is we are taking the weight off this plant. The leaves will die back with the frost. However, We want to take the weight off so we don't bust a bunch of stems. You will only prune in the spring. Right now, you're only taking the weight off the plant. We're not cutting her back. We're not doing anything else, just the weight. So we just take the heads off the plant. And that will prevent the stems from busting, and that will also prevent disease. You're getting that weight off of it so they don't bend and snap. And it's hard to do. When you have foliage like that, it is really hard to take it down, but we have to. So I'm using this one as an example to show you how I treat my hydrangeas. So let's just go through it and cut them all back. This is what I took off of them. You can see here in my container. Aren't they beautiful? All different sizes. It is particularly critical that you take those flowers off of your tree hydrangeas, which is just a hydrangea that has been pruned up to form the shape of a tree. This is a limelight. It does not matter what kind you have. You're going to cut those blooms off of these too, no matter how hard it is to do it. And once again, we're just going to cut these off. This is a new one I planted this year, so this is extremely important that we do this because the snow will weigh heavy on these and snap them. So once the leaves die down, there won't be a lot of weight here to hold the snow. There'll be nothing keeping it in on the plant. So you don't want to bust the tree part where the foliage is on that plant, or you're going to have to wait a long time for it to come back. So if you take that weight off so the snow falls through, and you can stake these if you want as well, you will have greater success with bringing these back year after year. They're hardy enough for our climate, but they cannot handle the weight, especially when they're newly planted. So that's it. I've showed you a few different varieties and how you're going to care for them if you live in a cold climate. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you find this helpful. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. So check out Rob's cooking channel. It's called Rob Loves to Cook, all one word. Rob is cooking up a storm, and we've started loading videos. So his first one is posted. So check it out. Don't forget to give him a like and subscribe, and encourage him to keep putting out great videos.